Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Abigail and I make videos about special needs and health issues and feeding tubes. I'm actually hooked up right now to my feeding tube here. So I did get a few questions that I'm going to answer, actually, but I only got 2 or 3 and I didn't want it to be a super short video, so I added a few that I thought y'all might want to know, or for any of the new people. I have gotten a few new subscribers, so I figured some of these questions I would go ahead and kind of go through again. Just kind of get to know me, I guess. The first question is, how long have you been on a feeding tube? I got my feeding tube on April 10th of this year. So yeah, I haven't had my feeding tube that long. The thing is that getting a feeding tube is a process. They put in what's called dangler tubes, and it's basically so that the stomach can heal for so long. And basically that's what happened when I was in the hospital getting surgery. They put the dangler tubes in, and then that's what they put in on April 10th. And then a few days ago, I got the buttons put in. Well, I say a few days ago, I guess it might be about a week or so. Not very long ago, I got the buttons put in. And I got a G tube, which is stomach, and J tube, which is intestines. And my J tube that goes to my intestines is the one that I get feedings from because I have gastroparesis. So my stomach doesn't work like it should because of a previous surgery that I had that got messed up. They accidentally hit a nerve in my stomach. I'm already a hard patient because of a birth defect I was born with. Causes a lot of things that are just different. Like some of my insides are in the wrong spot and all of that. So it was a different kind of, it was a hard surgery, but yeah, we went with the general surgeon, not a specialist. And yeah, I ended up getting gastroparesis from that. So I've been on a feeding tube since April 10th. That's when I got the surgery. And then, like I said, I recently got my buttons for it. So the reason why I'm on a feeding tube is partially because of my gastroparesis, which causes my stomach to be partially paralyzed. So some of my stomach doesn't work, and it causes nausea and stomach pain, and also I have a really bad a hernia that has come back because of my birth defect. Some of my insides can move and stuff because of my birth defect. And when my hernia happened again, this is I think the third time it's happened, we decided that it was best to just get the feeding tube because it was a less dangerous surgery than try to force my stomach back down because of a lot of scar tissue. So yeah, how have my energy levels been since the feeding tube? So I guess you could say good and bad. So good in the sense that after I got my feeding tube placed, like my buttons and stuff, it's been a long healing process, but I feel like my energy is, better than it was. I feel healthier, but at the same time, because of my J tube being too long, I'm kind of I'm feeling bad from that. So I'm feeling better in the sense of like getting more nutrition and having more energy that way, but I feel bad in the sense of I'm really sore because of the J tube moving, because it's too long, and I've just felt kind of general feeling. But overall, getting good nutrition has really helped. It's actually helped my hair grow, my nails. It's been other than the J tube situation, everything else has been pretty great. So good. Why do I have a feeding tube? So I have a feeding tube because I have a hernia that couldn't get fixed, and also I have gastroparesis, which means part of my stomach is paralyzed, which happened from a previous surgery that went wrong, and it causes pain and nausea and discomfort, basically, like stomach pain. Now, when I was first diagnosed with gastroparesis, I was on a special diet. Like, I couldn't have like a lot of foods that was like high in fiber, because fiber slows down your digestion, and my digestion is already slow. And so I was on a very special diet. I would eat more frequent meals, so smaller, more often meals. So like for me, that would be like eating a toddler sized meal every, like, let's just say 2 hours or so. And so that's basically the diet that I was on for a while. And then after I started having more health issues, it got to a point where I couldn't hold down food, even my safe foods. When I say safe foods, the things that I could normally have, even with having gastroparesis. And got a lot of testing done, found out I had a hernia again, as well as the gastroparesis was also making it worse. So it was to a point that we decided, I ended up losing like a lot of weight, and we decided it was best to get a feeding tube. So yeah. So the reason why I have the J tube to get my feedings instead of my G is because the J tube goes to my intestines, and because my stomach doesn't work like it should, I get food or nutrition through my J tube, and then the G tube is just a vent, also known as getting sick out of. So yeah, I have a feeding tube because of gastroparesis, plus basically my birth defect causes a lot of complicated situations. Do I need another surgery? Not really another surgery, but I'll probably need another procedure, because like I've said in my videos, my J tube is too long, and I don't like absolutely have to get it replaced, but it keeps coming in and out and like moving, and it's very uncomfortable. So it's basically been to the point that I just want to lay around and I feel like general feeling. So I'm going to get that replaced, the J tube, for a shorter one, but I don't know when yet. It can be a while down the road because they gotta order it and wait for it to come in, and it can take a while. Do I have siblings? Yes, I do. I have 2 brothers. I have a little brother named Daniel. He's 11. You've probably actually seen him in some of my videos before. And then I have an older brother named Josiah, and he turned 26 in May. So, yeah. And then, frustrating story. I feel like I always have a story with being on a feeding tube because I'm on 24-hour feeds. I'm basically on it No, all the time, unless, I'm like taking a shower or changing clothes or something like that. They call it continuous feeds. My frustrating story for today was I had gotten up, did my thing, put my pump in my backpack to carry around, everything I normally do, and my pump was continuously beeping on me. And I start to panic because I'm already not feeling good. And I look and I cannot find a kink anywhere. Which it was saying low flow, which basically means that it's kinked somewhere. So I opened the top of it and realized that there's a kink like right in the middle where this infinity pump right here, this part right here comes open, and there is a kink right in the middle of here. And so I fixed the kink. I put the pump back in my backpack, and literally as soon as I sit down, I hear a beeping sound again. Low flow. And at that point, I was almost at the point of getting a new bag because I was feeling just, how like when you feel bad and then just like anything that goes wrong just like stresses you out or is just like so much worse just because you feel bad. That's kind of how it was. So I sit down on the chair in the kitchen and I'm like, okay, what's wrong now? There's no kinks. I don't see any kinks. I don't understand why it's saying no flow. I made sure that I got that other kink out that I had already gotten out previously. That was good. I looked like all over my machine to find out that my extension that hooks from my button to the pump, it has this little thing on it that it's like you can basically close it so that whenever you're unhooking it to like flush the extension, you don't have to worry about water going everywhere. The problem is that if you don't unplug the extension after you flush it, then the formula can't go through the extension because it's closed. So basically that's what happened the second time. I still had the extension closed, and so the formula couldn't go through part of the extension, and it was like freaking out the machine. So guys, those are my stories for today of feeding tube situations. I'm still dealing with the swelling and discomfort from the J-tube like going in and out, but that's the story for today of my feeding tube situation. It's just, I feel like every day something happens to me that is just crazy. I'm glad I figured it out, but it was like in that moment I was literally so stressed out, and it was like I could not think of what to do next until I got my machine to quit beeping. It was crazy. So anyways, I hope that y'all enjoyed the Q&A. Sorry I didn't give a whole lot of time to put your questions below, but I was curious what everyone's questions were, and I kind of wanted to go through some of these things that other people might not know because I've gotten some new subscribers, and so that's why I went through some of my like older questions are things that I thought that other people would have questions about. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I will see y'all next time. Bye everyone.